No, really. No, yeah, put her.
Okay, Jay. So we are live on YouTube here,
Oh my God.
and then we're gonna try to get you live onto Instagram here. Just give me like a couple seconds, and we will. I love the trombones in the background, by the way. I don't know if y'all can see. Jay has got. Let me just fix this here. There you are, and there I am. And maybe actually a better way to do this would be to zoom in on the actual phone. Here we go. Let's see if we can do this better. Okay. Hold on. Let me see if I can do a better version of this.
You can handle midway.
Okay. Can everyone see Jay? Great. Okay, cool. Excellent. All right. So Jay, we are gonna film, I don't know, can you see this here? Let's see, I'm gonna do the Instagram live, and we're going to try to go live on Instagram, okay?
Okay.
All right, sounds good, man. Good morning, everybody, and we are starting a live stream. This is a Fireside Chat with Jay Friedman, who is one of the founding members of the Chicago Brass. I'm just so happy to have him here. Jay is unbelievable person to get to work with, unbelievable musician, and I'm really happy that he is joining us on this Instagram Live. Let's see if we can find Jay Friedman. Mr. Friedman, we practiced this yesterday, so everyone just hold on a minute for your, thank you for your patience while we get Jay to join our video. Let's see, I'm gonna send Jay a little request here. There we go, and we'll do this. Okay. Let's see. The horn. You got the horn. That is my Rauk. Let's see if we can find Jay Friedman. Okay, so we are having a bit of technical difficulties. Let's do this one more time, okay? All right. So Jay is still new to Instagram. Hey, there's my brother, John Cooper. Amazing, amazing, amazing. Let's see where Mr. Friedman is. Okay, let's see. I sent Jay an invitation to join. Let's see, where is Jay? Jay should be on here somewhere. TB Horn sent a request to be in my live video. Thank you, TB Horn. Not today, this is Jay's chat. All right, let's see if we can find Mr. Friedman. Does anyone have any questions that they want to know when I'm talking to Jay? Maybe, hey, there's my brother. Awesome, John. Okay, let's see. Do we have any requests from Jay? Man, I'm on the struggle bus here, guys. Sorry. Okay, we're going to do this again. I'm going to end it and then start again. That's the best way. Hang on. Thank you for your patience. Thank you, guys. Hey, Jay, are you guys able to join? Did you see those invites?
Yeah. It just went away.
Okay, yeah, okay, I got it. As soon as everyone gets on there, it's like I need you guys to join like quick so we can.
I can't find it.
Okay, so I'm gonna send you a message as soon as I get on there, and I'll add you. So go up to the top right hand corner with that. It's like a little triangle up at the top right hand corner, and then it'll have messages. It should have messages up there.
Okay.
So we're gonna do this one more time. I'm gonna send you a invite for the live chat, okay?
Okay.
All right, awesome, guys. Okay, everybody, we are live officially, and we're going to try to find Jay Friedman here on all of our friends here who are joining the video. Let's see, we're looking for Mr. Friedman Does Tricks. That's Jay's Jack Russell Terrier, and the Jack Russell Terrier are incredible dogs. They're like Wishbone, if anyone had seen that show growing up. And Jay's wife, Gail, trains this Mr. Friedman. That's the name of their dog. So let's see. Do we have Mr. Friedman? Let's see. Well, okay, we're still struggling with the technology a little bit, but we're gonna get it. I'm confident of this. Ernie, hey, what's going on, Ernie Tovar from Philadelphia Orchestra, Elmer Hermano, ha ha ha, yes. And then French Horn Gang 777 says, I've got 3 sitting with me. 3, I'm gonna guess that's 3 Jack Russell Terriers. Ava joined. Let's see. All right. Etc. Trombone. Hi, Etc. Trombone. Reed 24. So guys, write in your questions. There's like this little question box in the bottom, and we can see questions from our viewers will show up here, and that way I don't have to kind of sift through the actual comments. Omri Trumpet. Hey David. Hey Omri. It says a question for you guys when you approach clean entrances. All right, I will definitely be talking about that today. Can everyone see the video on YouTube? All right, cool. Jack Russell's have a lot of energy, but can't keep up with David. Thank you. That's my brother. Everybody, thanks, John. I do have a little bit of energy. Let's see. Do we have Mr. Friedman on here? No. Okay. So as of now, I guess we are maybe not online with Mr. Friedman, but I might try to see if I can FaceTime him. Aha, there we are. There we are. Aha. Go live with Mr. Friedman. Waiting. We got it. Got him. Yay! Ha! Success. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited to see you, Jay.
Yeah, me too.
Hey, how are you doing today?
Good.
Excellent. So I just want to start real quick. I've got my laptop here with some questions. So the purpose of this discussion is that Jay Friedman is one of the members of the legendary Chicago Symphony Brass during the Schulte era. And at the height of fame for the Chicago Symphony Orchestra, we are still so lucky to have Jay playing with us and carrying the tradition of the Chicago Symphony Brass and helping to teach us and to continue the legacy of the Chicago Symphony Brass sound. Could you explain, just describe the sound of the Chicago Symphony Brass?
Well, I'd have to put it in one phrase, and it would be life in the sound.
Wow.
Yeah, life in the sound. So much life in the sound. And I have to correct you. I was way before the Schulte era. I started in the Reiner.
Holy
era.
smokes.
Yeah, in fact, Reiner's last year was my first year in the orchestra.
Oh, that's so cool. That's,
Yeah,
I mean,
so that was 1962. So that's what. Yeah, that's 7 years before Schulte.
Wow. I just wanted to say a quick hello to Jennifer Gunn. Jennifer Gunn is our piccolo player from the Chicago Symphony, and
I love her.
Yeah.
She's such a great player and such a nice person.
I mean, yeah, we should just, if everyone was so lucky to hear piccolo playing like that, it's really,
She's amazing.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. I just want to say hey to Jen real quick. I'm sorry to interrupt. This would be a great way for us to transition. How did you get started playing the trombone?
Well, I was a euphonium player in grammar school and high school, and I never played the trombone then because I wanted to play in the band, and the band director said I need a euphonium player, and you're it. So the instrument picked me.
Wow.
Yeah, and when I graduated from high school, I wanted to be a musician, and my high school band director arranged arranged for me to study with somebody named Vincent Chikowitz, who I had no idea who he was, and I'd never been to a symphony concert.
Wow.
So he arranged for me to take lessons with Vincent Chikowitz, and in those days, that was in 1957. A half-hour lesson cost $4.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
Unbelievable.
and he got two, and the school got $2. So for a half-hour lesson. So I told Chikowitz I want to become a musician because that was the only thing I knew at that time. And he said, well, you're going to have to change to trombone because they don't use euphoniums in orchestras. I said, okay. All right, I guess I'll change to trombone. So they went in the back of the music school. I mean, it was just a little store at that time. And they brought out a trombone, and he gave me an Arbin book, and he said, come back in a few weeks and learn the positions. Yeah, I was 18 years old. I was a very late starter.
Wow.
Yeah, even though I had been playing for like 8 years.
Well,
So 5 years later, I was in the CSO, which is crazy.
unbelievable. What was your audition like for the Chicago Symphony?
My audition was actually in front of the whole orchestra for Reiner. We were doing a Wagner concert, and I was playing bass trumpet. And in those days, I came in on assistant principal, and in those days, that was the most dangerous job in the orchestra because you had to play these auxiliary instruments.
Wow.
They're
Yeah.
solo instruments.
Yeah.
I mean, they don't use them unless they're for solo stuff. So that was a very dangerous position. So he made me audition in that rehearsal in front of the orchestra, play all of a lot of my stuff by myself in front of the orchestra. And in those days, the way you knew you did good is you weren't fired, because they could fire you at any time in those days.
There are really scary stories about Mr. Reiner, right?
Oh yes, yeah, and they're all true. Yeah, I was there. It was very scary. I mean, there wasn't a sound on that stage when he was on the podium. There wasn't a sound on that stage.
Wow.
I mean, it was a totally different era. Conductors couldn't get away with that nowadays.
Yeah, but he could just terminate somebody at the drop of a hat, right?
Yeah, well, at the end of the season, you'd be gone.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah, you'd be gone. You'd finish the season. Yeah, and he fired a lot of good players too.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
Are there
it was
stories
totally
of him testing musicians?
Yes. My teacher, Robert Lambert, God bless his soul, he told me he would take the train down from a suburb, and if it was a Reiner rehearsal, he would think to himself, maybe the train will crash and I'll be pinned under the wreckage and I won't have to go to this rehearsal.
Oh my gosh.
I mean, can you imagine somebody thinking that?
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, the days of terror.
It was in those days. Yeah, and Reiner usually would pick out a wind player. He wouldn't bother the strings that much, but he would pick out a wind player, and that was your day in the barrel, and he would test you.
Wow.
Yeah, he would test you. I mean,
there's the
my
story.
third year was his last year. He was already sick. He'd had a heart attack, so he was very quiet in those days.
Yeah.
But Arnold Jacobs used to say, "You weren't here when he was healthy," because that could be really scary.
There's the famous story of him testing Bud in, was it Alzastrach?
Yes.
And so Bud Hurst was the principal trumpet of the Chicago Symphony for years and years. Another member of the legendary Chicago Symphony Brass. And I have to say, I mean, he's like kind of one of the founding fathers with you of the Chicago Symphony Brass sound. What was it like to work with Bud?
Oh, he was amazing.
Wow.
I mean, he was amazing. He was so nice to me because I was a kid. You know, I was 23 years old. My God, I was a baby, and I'd only been playing for about 5 years. I mean,
Wow.
I'd only been playing trombone. He was so nice to me. I remember that audition, the quasi-audition in front of the whole orchestra with Reiner. We come to the first tutti in Siegfried's Rhine journey, and Reiner stops the orchestra, and he looks back and he goes, "Who's playing bass trumpet?" and I held up my small hand and went, "Hang and he said, "I can't hear you." So Bud reaches over, and he lowers my stand, and he says, "Point it right in his face and blow the hell out of it." And from then on, he made me play every entrance that I had in the piece by myself to prove that I could play, and that was my audition for Reiner.
Oh my gosh! So you
Yeah, and I have to tell you, the first Csl concert that I ever went to was in 1957. I was a senior in high school, and I just started studying with Czechowicz too. And that concert was the Mahler First Symphony. I didn't know who Mahler was. And Bruno Walter was conducting the Chicago Symphony. Mahler won.
Wow.
And it was the day that Toscanini died.
Oh, man.
So he played the overture, and then he asked the audience and the orchestra to have a moment of silence for Toscanini because he died that day. That was the first concert I ever went to, 1957. I think it was April.
Unbelievable.
Yeah. I didn't know who the Chicago Symphony was because I only played in band. Yeah, I'd never been to a concert.
Wow.
It just happened on that day.
Could you talk a little bit about the Chicago Symphony sound in general?
Yes. Well, it's changed a lot, and depending on the conductor, really. And I have to tell you about, as far as the brass section, when Schulte came in 1969, you couldn't play loud enough for him.
Wow.
I mean, yeah, you could not put out enough sound. More brass, more trombones, more horns, louder, louder, louder. Well, over the years, he was there for 22 years, I think it was.
Yes.
He started reading the reviews in the paper, and they used to call us a halftime at a football game.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I used to call the orchestra that. Some of the reviews, you know, I mean, it was exciting and it was visceral, but it wasn't. Schulte started thinking, I've got to hold the orchestra down, and especially the brass section. Well, over a course of 22 years, we finally ended up in a recording session, and we were doing these Verdi choruses, and we're playing, and he had really hushed the brass section down to about nothing. So finally, the chief engineer, he's down in the booth, and the phone rings on the podium, and he says, "Maestro, we can't hear the brass section at all."
Wow.
So Schulte finally said, "Oh, okay, you can play a little more now."
Oh my gosh.
I mean, yeah, Yes. So it went from way too loud to not being able to hear us at all. That was a transition that Schulte achieved over 22 years.
Wow. So I think the Chicago Symphony Brass is known for their power and their musicality, their precision, but also they're known for how soft they can play, right? That's one of the characteristics of the Chicago. It's these great contrasts and then also taking great risks. I think that's what would characterize someone's playing like Bud or someone's playing like Dale or yourself or Arnold Jacobs or Gene Picorni.
Right. Yeah, right. Well, I've always been a soft I've always been a soft specialist. Always.
Yeah.
From the day I got in the orchestra, I've always done that. But, most people in the audience, they notice the big moments, your loud playing, but I've always been a soft specialist. Soft playing has always been easy for me, and loud playing I've always had to work at it.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I'm not a 6'5" lanky guy with huge lungs.
That's me.
So I've always been a
That's
soft specialist.
I feel like I'm the same sort of way. I'm a real I have fun playing soft and high, and I'll never forget playing the Schumann 3 with you. That opening of the fourth movement.
Right.
It was just,
it was so easy with you. It was so easy. Yeah, and I remember Muji stopped
Yes.
and he said, "Wow, you guys sure can play soft."
No. Let me correct you. He didn't say that. He goes, Jay, how do you play this? How do you play it so soft and so high? He's like, you're my age. How do you do this? And he was just like, this is simply amazing. He stopped the orchestra, and he just.
Do you remember my response? I went, "It's because I can't play loud." I was just making a joke.
Yeah, I know. No, of course you can play loud, Jay. I mean, I've heard your Mahler 3. It's really, really great. Jay, would you talk a little bit about efficiency? I think you were kind of heading there a little bit, talking about how we're not 6'5" and 300 pounds. Did you learn efficiency from working with Arnold Jacobs, or was it something you kind of came naturally on?
Well, it was kind of the way Jacobs and Mr. Herseth played, and that was the sound always jumped out of the horn. Yeah, and that's my big thing. People think that we play everything long and loud, everything sostenuto. Yeah, that's not really true. To get life in the sound needs to jump out of the horn.
Yes.
Really jump out of the horn, and it's the way you start notes.
Wow.
Yeah, it's the way you start notes with so much energy. And it's not a volume thing, because of course you're going to project when you play loud, but to project when you play soft, that's an art.
Wow.
Yeah, that's an art. So a lot of people think that I like really clean articulation, and that's true. The one thing that the CSO, and especially Mr. Herseth, Mr. Jacobs, and Mr. Clevenger had was really clean articulation. I mean, really beautiful articulation, too. The sound would jump out of the horn, and it gave real life to the sound. And if you do that, then you don't need to push in the middle of the note, and that's the secret to making a great sound. Why do we want clean articulation? The sound jumping out of the horn, so we can relax quickly. That's where the great sound happens. Yeah. Having good articulation, in other words, 100% resonance instantly, lets you relax very quickly. That's where the great sound happens.
Wow.
So we're only looking at what happens
Jay,
after you start a note.
Jay, when you talk about 100% relaxed, do you talk about relaxing your body, like your chest, your diaphragm, these muscles are relaxed, correct? That's what you mean by being resonant and relaxed?
Yes. Yeah, I teach it. Yeah, I teach it. And I think they also taught this. You work from the chin up.
Mm.
Yeah. You do as much work from the chin up so you don't have to work in your torso. The torso should be the resonating chamber.
Yes.
That's why we want notes to jump out of the horn. And I have to show you the T-shirt that my students at school bought. This shirt, you see this?
Well, it's reversed in us. So what does it say? Could you read it to us, because it's reversed in our camera?
Yeah. Jumping out of the horn, signed JF.
Oh.
They made up these shirts because that's my teaching philosophy. Not because I like clean attacks. That lets us relax right after the note starts. That's where the best sound happens.
So Jay, I'm gonna move on a little bit. Let's see. We have a few questions from some of our audience members who are watching right now. One of the young gentlemen asked a question about 93 BTJ. I think he asked a question about your car getting stuck in the snow before a concert in the 60s and the 70s. It was maybe you had a car get stuck in a snowbank before you were supposed to go to a concert. Chicago winters can be pretty tough.
After a concert, actually.
It was after a concert. Okay.
I think, it was the 71 snowstorm. Yeah, there have been 3 huge snowstorms in our area. 67, and there was one in 71. Yeah, and I think that's the one that I got stuck in. I was coming home from a concert, and there was a blizzard. I was living way out in Joliet on a farm. Yeah, Joliet, Illinois, on a farm. Yeah, and I tried to get home in the blizzard, and I went off in the snow into a snowbank on a country road, and I was freezing. I was inside my car. I thought I was going to run out of gas, and I was there for about 3 hours.
Oh my god!
3 hours. I didn't know where I was. I had no idea. I actually went off the road. And then finally a tanker truck came in the middle of the night, and he gave me a ride to a motel. And I was so cold that I had to go in the shower for about an hour to get the ice out of my veins. I was so cold. And then my family came and picked me up the next day. So I spent that night in a motel after. Yeah, I mean, that was one of the scariest things that's ever happened to me weather-wise.
Oh my gosh. Well, I guess that kind of turns me to now. How are you dealing with kind of some of this this time off, and some of the the feelings of hey, what's happening in the world right now, and how are you approaching this with your music?
Right. Yeah, I was trying to think, what do we do when we're not working, and we have a lot of time on our hands, but we have to keep our playing in a relative shape for when we do go back to work, which will hopefully be soon. Yeah, I think it's it always goes back to fundamentals. And when you have a lot of time on your hands, instead of just keeping in shape and doing exercises and just keeping our playing in shape, I think we need to deconstruct our playing and say, wow. how can I make a better sound?
Wow.
Yeah, how can I make a better sound on my instrument? 99.999% of us, are downstream players because most of us have an overbite. And
Myself, yeah.
Yeah, everybody.
Yeah.
Everybody. I don't see anybody playing with an underbite. So if you play everything in the middle of the mouthpiece, and you're a downstream player, that's going to put air in your sound. That's what I've been working on for the last couple of years. Getting the air out of the sound. Because an airy sound, is a dark sound.
Ah, that's it. You were talking about dark.
Maybe it is. Maybe it is, but that's not what I want. And that's not what players should want. You want a pure sound, and I always go back to that word, pure. Yeah. Pure means it's 99% pure core. Wow. With very little, and I always liken it to a gold analogy. If you buy your fiance or your wife a gold ring, you don't want it to be 10 karat, and you don't want it to be 14 karat, and you don't want it to be 18 karat gold. You want 24 karat gold. Wow. Yeah, I want a 24 karat gold sound, which means absolutely pure core, very little air in the sound. I don't want a dark sound. Wow. A dark sound is not a big sound. A dark sound is a fuzzy sound because it's got other things than pure core in it. Well, the question would be, well, what if I want a bigger sound? Well, then get a bigger mouthpiece and a bigger horn, but play it pure, which is 99% core. That's a beautiful sound. Wow. Yeah. Hey, Jay, I really appreciate hearing about the sound from you, because you have one of the nicest sounds of any trombone player I've ever heard. It's like when I hear you play, I feel like this hug of sound, and it's like that is how it's supposed to sound. And can I just share with everyone, you're 80 years old? Yes. Okay, Jay's 80 years old, and you're still one of the best trombone players I've ever heard and ever worked with. How do you maintain a career? How do you maintain your like, you've had such a long career, and what's your secret? Well, it's probably fundamentals. Like I said, learning how to use your airstream. I have to be very efficient because your lung capacity decreases as you get older. So you can make better use of your airstream, and that's what I do. And I like to demonstrate. I'd like to demonstrate. I mean, I'm just going to play one note, I pick where my air hits in the mouthpiece very carefully, and I've just kind of discovered this in the last couple of years. I mean, I always did it, but I didn't know why. You know what I mean? I heard the sound, and I thought, well, I do that to get that sound. Yeah. Now I understand what happens. Yeah. Jay, can I interrupt you really quick? Sure. I think for me, one of the things that really sticks out is that you're still passionate. You still care about your sound. You still care about learning. You care about practicing. You love music. I mean, I think that's one of the things that keeps, honestly, that's like it just seems like that's what's keeping you playing, is that it's just love. It's passion. It's enthusiasm. And I mean, you're still like really enthusiastic about learning. Just hearing you talk about, having these discoveries of where you're playing, where the air is going. It's really inspiring to me, and I hope I can be like you, when I'm your age. So I'm sorry to interrupt. Would you mind demonstrating for us? Yeah, well, I'm just going to play a middle B flat on the horn, and I'm going to show you the difference between uh, being in the middle of the mouthpiece. In other words, the middle of the slot. All of these intervals, all of these notes on a brass instrument, there's a slot for each one. And most people will aim for the middle of every slot because they think that's the best sound. So if I play a middle B flat, and I'm a downstream player like most people are, my air is going to hit very low in the mouthpiece, and here's the sound that I get. Okay, I mean, I would describe that as a dark sound. So in order to make up for the fact that I'm a downstream player, as I say, like most people, I mean, almost all, I've got to raise up my airstream where it hits in the mouthpiece. So I'm not going to be in the middle of that. I'm going to make up for the fact, I want my air to go right into the hole of the mouthpiece as much as possible for everything other than a fortissimo dynamic.
Okay.
Especially the soft dynamics. This is a huge, I play a bass trombone slide and a 3G mouthpiece,
And you also play a Mount Vernon Bach that you bought in the
1959. Yeah, I still play that. Yeah, I still play the bell, but I play a bass trombone slide, not because I want to sound like a bass trombone. I want it to be very free. Very free. So, getting back to my point, if I'm in the middle of that slot and I'm a downstream player, I'm going to get this sound. There's a lot of air in that sound. All right? I want to get rid of that air. I want a pure sound. It'll always be a big sound because it's a big instrument and a big mouthpiece. I mean, we're playing gigantic instruments these days.
Wow.
That's the arms race, I call it. Bigger and bigger because everybody wants a big sound. But it's got to be a pure sound. So if I go to the upper third of that slot and I get my air to hit a little higher in the mouthpiece to make up for the fact that I'm a downstream player, this is the sound I'm going to get. That's a much purer sound. Much purer, not as dark because the air is most of the air is out of it. I'm always working to get the air out of my sound.
Wow.
Now, if I were to play that fortissimo, then I'd want my air to hit low in the mouthpiece because I'm a downstream, because I want to make the mouthpiece sound larger than it is. But anything other than fortissimo, I want to make the mouthpiece and the horn sound smaller than it is. It'll always be a big sound. It has to be a pure sound, which is 99% core.
Unbelievable.
So
Jay,
I really, my philosophy.
I'm going to interject now. I think it's time to take a couple questions. We have about 20 minutes left for our live stream. So I'm going to take some questions. Let's see. So Brian Johnson says hi. 93 BTJ. Hi from Brian Johnson. Let's see.
Right, yeah.
Yep.
He's one of my former students.
Let's see. This is from J.K. Aiden, 7397. How do you guys support such connected singing phrases?
Right. Well, I play a lot of melodic exercises like the Rochu book. I mean, that's the Bible. Too. That and the Arbin book.
Yes.
Singing. You try to imitate the human voice.
Yes.
Yeah, you try to imitate, a singer, and that means that you don't jerk the slide from position to position like most of the world does. Yeah. I have this recipe for legato, 50% clear and 50% smooth. Not 100% clear and not 100% smooth. It's 50-50.
Wow.
So I try to move the air and the slide exactly together. Yeah, and if you're a valve player, people think that rotary valves are somehow smoother than the piston valves. That's not true. That's not true. The possibility for legato on a valve instrument is determined by the way you use your air and the length of the valve.
Yes.
The valves on the tuba are about what? 4 inches long? Yeah. There's a 3 or 4 inch distance between open and using the valve. That gives you a possibility for more legato. So actually, the length of the valve, that the valve travel, that's like another slide position. That gives you more possibility of legato. And the greatest legato player, well, the two greatest legato players that I ever heard were Mr. Herseth and Mr. Jacobs.
Yes.
You never heard a valve change. Yeah. It sounded like they were playing slide instruments, not valve instruments, where you hear a valve clunk, 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 and very clean. They change valves with the airstream. So you never heard the valves move. It was like a slide tuba and a slide trumpet.
Wow.
Yeah, in fact, I've had trumpet players. Yeah, I've told trumpet players. I've had a few of my friends say, put some slide cream on your valves and smooth them out so that they move a lot slower, and then fill in those gaps with air and sound.
Wow.
That's an amazing sound transformation.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's.
Yeah,
I mean, I think
it's
that's the secret to smooth playing is it's the connection between the notes. It's the connection.
Yeah, you have to use more air.
Yeah,
and it's rely on the valves to change notes. Rely on your air, and as I say, Mr. Herseth and Mr. Jacobs were the. Yeah, and I don't hear that today. Yeah, I don't hear that. Everybody's trying to get faster valve oil to make their valves even faster, so they can get rid of legato. Yeah, let's go the other way.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's use our air to change notes, and we should hide the valves changing. And you can do that on a rotary valve instrument as well as a piston valve.
Jay, I'm going to interrupt you. So could you tell us, how was Reiner different from Schulte? This is from Attila der Horn. And I would love to talk for a couple minutes just about the difference of the orchestra and the difference of conductors between Reiner and Schulte.
Right. Yeah, well, Reiner's sound from the orchestra was a very transparent sound.
Meaning it was...
You could hear
precision.
And if you listen to those recordings, the old Reiner recordings, the orchestra sounds very transparent. Yeah, like you can hear all these different sections too. Whereas the Schulte performances, and I'm not talking about the recordings because, the engineering has a lot to do with how an orchestra sounds. I mean, a recording engineer can take an orchestra and make it sound completely different how it sounds actually. But Schulte's sound from the orchestra was very red-blooded. It was very exciting, especially when he first came. Yeah, it was more Germanic. Yes, and the famous. If there was one moment when Reiner really changed the sound of the orchestra, he came. It was a very German orchestra before Reiner came. Very German. I mean, old German. And it was a thick sound. It was a lustrous sound, but it was a heavy sound. So one of the first things that Reiner did when he came, he demonstrated a downbeat. He said, "I don't want this. I want ba." That's what he wanted. And that changed the sound of the orchestra completely.
Wow.
So, yeah. And it wasn't an accent. He just wanted to be much lighter and much more bubbly sound and much more transparent. So he always got that.
May I?
And Schulten came and his was a much more exciting, less subtle sound when he first came. Yeah.
May I ask a question? Could you tell a little bit about the great Carnegie Hall Mahler 5 performance? This is one of my favorite stories.
Yes. Well, yeah, that was the first time that we played Mahler 5 in public, actually. After that, we played it 200 times because everybody would ask for it. Whenever we'd go on tour, we'd have to do Mahler 5 with Schulte because that's what sold the tickets and that's what everybody wanted to hear. But the first one, actually, the first performance was kind of panned in the New York Times. Yeah, I remember the headline of that review. It said, "Mahler 5 gets loud performance."
Really?
That was in the New York Times. Yeah, that was the review. But after that, people and the critics started realizing what a great performance it was and what a great interpretation it was. However, the biggest applause we ever got at Carnegie Hall was actually not for Mahler 5. It was for the complete performance of Rheingold that we did, and that was in 73. I'll have to look at my
Wow.
In my book. That thing was that performance of a complete Das Rheingold was so sold out that the president of our board couldn't get a ticket to it. And that was the loudest. That was a 20-minute ovation afterward. That was even bigger than Mahler 5. That was the biggest one that I've ever heard.
And this performance was at Symphony Hall, or was this at Carnegie?
No, it was Carnegie Hall.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, the entire Rheingold. Yeah, the whole opera. That was the biggest reception that I ever heard the orchestra get.
Wow.
And you couldn't buy a ticket for $1,000. They were scalping for thousands outside. Nobody could get a ticket to that one.
The Chicago Symphony did their first European tour in 1971, and what I heard was when they came back to Chicago, there was a ticker tape parade that was thrown for the Chicago Symphony. I can't even comprehend like the level of like celebrity and fame that the Chicago Symphony Orchestra had during the 1960s, 70s, 80s, 90s, and up to now. But it's like, for me, it's so exciting to hear these stories. What was that like to come back to such a warm reception?
Well, it was amazing. And what they had to do was, when you see these old World War II films of our troops landing on the beach at Iwo Jima.
Yeah.
They came out of these big landing crafts, they call them LCDs or something like that, these huge cargo things. That's where we were in the parade. The Chicago, somehow the Navy gave us these big landing crafts, and the Chicago Symphony rode in these big naval landing crafts on the beaches of Normandy or something in World War II. That's where that's what we used to transport us on the ticker tape parade, and that's the biggest reception that the CSO got as far as the public is concerned. That was amazing.
Well, you also
there are still pictures of those.
You also played the themes from the Bears. Let's Go Bears. You recorded that with Schulte in 1985 when the Bears won the Super Bowl.
The Bears won the Super Bowl, right?
Yeah, I mean that must have been huge. Did you play that as encores as well with the Chicago Symphony?
No, that was a separate recording session.
Okay, wow.
Yeah, we did that in a recording session.
And it was like you guys were celebrities after that, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you were before, but that really, kind of like sealed your celebrity status.
For the orchestra.
Wow.
Yeah, when they put Schulte's picture on the front of Time magazine, and the caption was "Fastest Baton in the West." That was the caption, and Schulte's picture is on the cover of Time magazine.
Wow.
That was probably the high point for the orchestra.
Wow, fantastic. Jay, let me ask like a couple questions now. We have about 10 minutes left. So I have probably about 3 questions I'd like to get answered, so maybe about 3 minutes apiece. Could you tell me some of your favorite conductors you like to work with, your favorite guest conductors in the Chicago Symphony?
Right. Well, my favorite, there are two conductors that are my favorites of all time, and not counting the music directors, of course, because obviously they're guest conductors. Raphael Kubelik is probably my all-time favorite guest conductor. And my favorite concert of all time was the 1980 Ma Vlast by Smetana.
Wow.
With Kubelik. That's the performance I will never forget.
What about it?
If you had to name one.
What about it made it so special?
Well, it was like he wasn't conducting. It was like Smetana's music was emanating from the composer through Kubelik's arms right into the orchestra like an electric current. It wasn't conducting. Yeah, it was the composer transmitting his ideas through the arms of the conductor.
Wow.
I mean, I've never seen anything like it.
Unbelievable.
And my other favorite guest conductor was Carlos Kleiber.
Oh man, you worked with Carlos Kleiber? Unbelievably.
Yeah, we did Brahms Second with him. We did Beethoven 5 with him. We did Freischütz Overture. I mean, he only had a repertoire of about a dozen pieces or something, but boy, he did them great. And he was the consummate musician.
Yeah.
Those two are my favorite. But I have to tell you what my favorite CSO recording is of all time, and it'll be a surprise.
What's that?
It's the Nielsen Second Symphony with Wharton Gould.
No kidding?
The most exciting recording, in my opinion, that the CSO or maybe any other orchestra's ever got.
Wow.
It is so exciting, it will blow you right out of your chair.
Wow.
Nielsen Second Symphony with Wharton Gould. And it's available now. It's out on CD, and I don't know if you can stream it or not.
I think it's on iTunes. It's on the same disc as the Nielsen Helios Overture that we just listened to.
Right.
Were you
that
playing?
Was 1965.
You were playing on this recording?
Yes.
Wow. Do you know the horn player or the was it Brauch?
It
or?
might have been Claire Van Norman.
Okay.
Who was our first horn at that time. I'm not sure that Dale was here. He came in 65 or 66.
Okay.
Yeah, it could be. So it could be before Dale.
Wow.
But
fantastic.
I mean, that recording, oh my God. Yeah, I played it for Maestro Muti. He couldn't believe it. He said, who was Morton Gould? I said he was a composer and a conductor. You know, not that famous. I mean, he was famous as a composer.
He's most famous for the
conductor.
patriotic suite, right? The American suite. And then the grand.
He wrote a lot of good music.
Yeah.
Yeah, that Spirituals for Orchestra is, that's a famous piece of his. A lot of orchestras have played that.
What do you like about this recording? It
is hair raising, and the playing is amazing, but there's a spirit and an excitement there that I have never heard on another recording.
Wow. I'll have to check that out. I know what I'm doing today after our session, our interview. Okay, right. So let me ask you, we have about 5 minutes left. I have 2 questions for you. Tell me about conducting and how you got involved with conducting.
Well, yeah, let me tell you, it was a long, crazy journey, too. Yeah, I started looking at scores because I was interested what makes orchestras sound different from each other. Yeah. Why do European orchestras sound different than the Chicago Symphony or the Philadelphia Orchestra or the Cleveland Orchestra or the Boston Symphony? Yeah. Why does the Berlin Philharmonic sound different than the Vienna Philharmonic? Why does the Czech Philharmonic, one of my favorite orchestras.
Mine too.
Yeah, sound totally different. Well, I started studying scores only because, I wanted to find out why orchestras sound so different on the same music.
Wow.
So for 25 years, I studied scores only for that reason, because I wanted to know what makes orchestras sound different.
Wow.
So after 25 years, I never thought of conducting. I wasn't using it because I was going to be a conductor or anything. And after 25 years, people started asking me to conduct, chamber group, brass group, just little things in it. And I ended up being a conductor.
Oh,
kind of.
Hey, I did Mahler 1 with you. I'll never forget that. And also, I think we did Brahms 1 and Beethoven 7 together. Those are unbelievable. During last year, during the musicians.
Right, it was Brahms 4 we did.
Brahms 4.
Yeah, you played it. Yeah, on that, and we did Beethoven 7, and we did Mahler 1 at the Auditorium Theater, which was amazing. Yeah. That was a great performance. One rehearsal. Yeah, we only had one rehearsal because the orchestra was on strike.
That was really terrific.
We wanted to do concerts for the city, and they asked me to conduct.
And I loved your.
Amazing. You sounded great.
I just loved your interpretation of the Mahler, and I loved your just how much you care about the music and how passionate you are. And your knowledge of the score is so thorough. So, last question, Jay. I have one last question for you. Okay, why is music and art so important during the time of uncertainty and upset around COVID? Like, why would you say music is more important now than ever?
Well, because it is the least political thing that we do in our society today.
It's the language that includes everybody.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we need things that are not political. We need art forms that, art and music, and they are not political, and they cross boundaries all over the world, and that's so important that we get the politics out of our life, that we don't dwell in politics only.
Yeah.
That's why the arts are so important. And music is one of the most powerful arts that we have.
It speaks to everybody. What advice would you give to a young person who's pursuing music right now?
Well, I would say be as good as you can and enjoy music. Enjoy your music making for what it gives to you on a personal level, and you can wind up. You can be an amateur musician, or if you're good enough to make a living at it, you can be a professional musician. But amateurs, they may love music even more than the professionals because they do it because they love it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that will enrich your life beyond measure.
Wow.
Having music in your life, your whole life on this earth.
Wow.
As it's done for me.
Wow.
I mean, I'm living a dream.
Yeah.
I'm still living the dream.
Yeah. Thank you, Jay.
I love to play. Yeah, I love to play, and I love playing in the orchestra.
Yeah, well, we love working with you. We love having you. Jay, it's such a pleasure to get a chance to talk to you. Thank you for sharing your thoughts, your enthusiasm, your your passion. Can we have a special guest right now? Who is this? Oh, Minnie! Hey, Minnie! Hey! Oh! Can you Mr. Friedman, who does tricks? Can you lift him up a little bit so he can see his little face? Oh my gosh!
He just came back from St. Louis where he did a commercial. For Purina.
Did he really? Oh my gosh!
He's our star.
Oh my gosh! Mr. Friedman's working more than I am right now.
He's the only money earner in the family.
Oh, hey, well.
$675. Yeah, he made $675 for that commercial.
Unbelievable. Well, maybe he can share some of his Purina with me. Hey, thank you so much, guys. It's such a great pleasure to see you and to host this video and to hear from you. I really appreciate your time, and I can't wait to play music again with you. But in the meantime, happy practicing, and thank you again for your insights and your hope.
Thanks for having me.
See you soon. Bye-bye.
See you soon. Bye.
Hey, thank you everybody for tuning in. I really appreciate it. I know that this is a bit of a tough medium to share on YouTube Live, but I just want to thank you for watching and thank you for being a part of it. And let's do many more of these when I figure out the technology to host on YouTube. Thank you so much, everybody. Have a great day.